Hi, everybody. Yay! Okay, we can all hear me. That's good. La, 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 la. All right. So I'm excited because this one's all about pendulums. Yay! Hello from Iowa, Rayola, Gwen, Connie, Jim, Christina. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Don't mind me. It's been kind of one of those rushing days. Eric and I are the only ones at Awakening. So literally, like, he's printing the labels, I'm helping pack and all this other stuff. So we've been kind of going a little, been a little busy. And so I just want to thank everybody for their continued support. I really, really do. I really appreciate all the orders that have been coming in. And it's been pretty cool because we've been getting some really neat stuff in. I'm really excited to start kind of showing everybody. We got these really cute sage that just came in. They're like this big, but they're wrapped with lavender and it has a piece of amethyst with it. And they're so cute. Oh my gosh, I love them. So we're practically sold out of them. We're getting more in with like citrine. What else, babe? Citrine, rose quartz. What was the other one? Citrine, rose quartz.
There were two different types of citrine.
Right, two different types of citrine. And then there was another one we also got in that's, it's a bigger piece of sage stick that has rose petals, and then it has a clear crystal point to it too. So I'm like so excited because I get to unpackage this stuff. And a lot of times, you know, our employees unpackage a lot of these things and I don't ever get a chance to see them. So when I get a chance to see them, I get really excited. I'm like, yay, finally neat stuff for me. So hi, Angela. Hi from Texas. But I just kind of wanted to shoot this video again, just to kind of let people know and talk to you guys a little bit about pendulums and how they work. Will I be broke after this pandemic? I think we all are going to be broke, so that's okay. You know, what's nice is we're all going to be in the same boat. So I'm a big proponent and always telling people, make sure that you shop local because it's your local people that actually are like 65% of the backbone of America. They hire the most people too, not just the big companies. So I know in Nebraska, they just mandatorily shut down all the nail salons, barber shops, massage places, and hairstylists. So yeah, we're all going to be hurting a little bit when it comes to the money, but at the same time, you know, this is a chance that we finally get to hang out with our family and finally get a chance to slow the hell down. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't. As long as everybody's, you know, staying safe and being healthy. The best thing I can tell you about your health, don't stress. Stress opens you up for infections. It always does. So try not to stress about this. Instead, focus in on the things that you can do. Okay. Focus in on the things that you can do that are going to make you happy. Besides, we've all been having these projects that we all need to get done. Perfect time to get them done. I'm actually writing a book right now when it comes to about psychic kids. So it's been weird because I've always wanted a little bit of a chance or needing a little bit of time to get things done. And now I absolutely have that time. So it's kind of great, right? Everybody's going to emerge from this like legit needing some gray hair, like nasty fingernails. We're all going to be looking a little tough, but you know what? That's okay. All right. So like I said, if you guys don't have a pendulum, I highly suggest you grab one. Of course, Awakenings has a bunch of them. So this is just the basics. And again, if you guys have questions, there's a chat bar right there. We'll absolutely go through some questions, some Q&A stuff here as well. And so let's see here. I'm so excited because we have the windows open. So I saged just a little bit and I have the windows open, which today is a new moon. You always want to, it's just a friendly reminder to always sage on a new moon. New moon is always about new beginnings. So that's why we want to sage or use palo or sandal or palo or sweetgrass or cedar. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. It's the scent. So yes, Sherry, I would tell you sage a new house. Absolutely. So I'm a big proponent in saging when you leave and when you come in. So, but yeah, absolutely. So if you guys don't have a pendulum, I'm going to highly suggest you grab one. It doesn't matter if it's round, if it's pointed, if it's metal, if it's crystal, doesn't matter. I will tell you that with mine in particular, I've had mine for 14 years. I've had a long time. So one of my favorite stones is lapis. So this is my old lapis pendulum. It's my good go-to. So yeah, you can sage tonight. Tomorrow morning's fine too. Tomorrow. It's just ish. We want to do ish. So like yesterday, today, tomorrow-ish, new moon-ish. So it's fine. So totally works. Okay. So if you don't have a pendulum, I'm gonna highly suggest you go ahead and grab one. So if you've never used a pendulum before, first and foremost, if you have a crystal pyramid like this one, you're going to want to cleanse it and charge it. So just like any other crystal that you're going to get, when you get a crystal, you need to cleanse it and charge it first. Now, at Awakenings, I'm a weirdo, like I sage a lot there. So that way, when you guys get stuff, I want to make sure that it's cleansed and ready to go. So, but this one here in particular has been cleansed and charged. So what I'm going to tell you to do is cleanse it, charge it. Sage is how easiest way to cleanse it. Easiest way to charge it, selenite, full moon. Full moon actually does both. There is no certain weight. Good question, Regina. Weight doesn't matter. So I know people that even in a pinch, if you guys want to, it's just like back in the old days. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they would take I gotta think. It was like a necklace. You could use a necklace, or it was like a rubber band. Sorry, my dogs. It's like a rubber band with some sort of weight at the end. And then they would go over the mother's tummy and they would say, okay, is it a boy or a girl? And it would move. And almost always it was right. So pendulums really work. They do. I don't use mine so much anymore just because I just trust my intuition. I just trust how it feels to me anymore. So that's a lot of that one for me. But the other thing is that metal, you don't really have to worry about like cleansing or charging metal. Doesn't really matter. But some people are particular. And if you feel better, if you want to cleanse or charge it, you go right ahead. Cool. So first thing that you're going to want to do is cleanse, charge. Second thing, you're going to want to program it. Now, how you program it is pretty simple. Now, personally, I believe in God, okay? If you guys believe in something else, put your own noun or verb in there. It doesn't matter, okay? If it's love, light, universe, Allah, Buddha, I don't care. So it doesn't matter. So all you're going to do is the first thing you're going to do is say, okay, God, angels, I'm going to hold it up here. But ultimately, you want to hold it about where your heart chakra is. So you're just going to hold it. And you're not going to like grip it tight. You don't need to do that. You're just going to, a lot of times they have like a little ball or a little gem at the end, or a little like charm. So just hold it like this and just lightly touch it and just make sure it's just kind of loose because sometimes it gets stiff. So, and then you're going to hold it like this and you're going to feel, because you have to remember you have major energy centers in the palms of your hand. So if you hold it about right here, right where your heart chakra is, and hold it here and say, God, angels, or spirit guides, or whoever the hell you want to talk to, it doesn't matter. I usually just say, God, angels, please show me is this. It's going back and forth. Now, if your yes goes in circles, diagonal, goes this way, doesn't matter. That's your yes. Remember, you're programming it. So this is how we program it. We're just simply going to ask, show me a sign for a yes, and it's going to move a certain way. Now, once it's set, and that's set for every type of pendulum that you're ever going to use. So even if I switch to a metal pendulum, it's still going to move the same way. All right. So you're just going to hold it and say something like, okay, God, angels, please show my sign for a no. And it's going to start moving back. So there's my sign. And then God, angels, show me a sign for an I don't know. And mine is diagonal. So yours is going to go in a different direction. So mine always goes in the same direction. So if you would rather do it in your left hand versus your right hand, doesn't matter. It does not matter. So whatever fluffs your skirt, really. So just say something like I said, God, angels, please fill this house, or excuse me, God, angels, show me a sign for a yes, show me a sign for a no, and show me a sign for an I don't know. And you're going to want that I don't know, because sometimes they can't always give the answer, or the way that you're asking the question needs more clarification. Now, what I always tell people is that whenever you're talking to spirit, you always want to remember that they're very, they don't understand intent very well. You have to be pretty black and white. So am I going to get a new car? That's broad. Am I going to get a Cadillac Escalade? That's particular. So the more particular you can ask a question, the better the results are going to be. Number two, you can't ask on the behalf of another person. These are only meant for you and you personally. So it's going to give you a false read, and they will occasionally. So if you're like, does my boyfriend love me? It's going to give you a false read. So because that's up to that other person. That's affecting someone else's free will. It will give you a false read if you're trying to affect somebody else's free will or try to get in somebody else's head. Like, you're going to get denied. All right. So that's why pendulums are very personal. They're for personal use. All righty. So and like I said, play with this stuff, guys. And this is a pendulum is an easy avenue or an easy divination tool to be able to begin the communication between you and your spirit guides. So it really is. Like I said, I don't need to use mine so much anymore. I rely on my own intuition, but there are times that I will use it. Sometimes if I'm helping, for instance, the police department find somebody, I will use that. If I lose something at my house, okay, I'll ask a question. So it works really well for like lost items. So it works also really good for, like I said, looking at things on a map. So when it comes to a map, all you're going to do is hold your pendulum over the map and say, circle the area of blah, 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 whatever it is that you're looking for. Remember, the more particular you get, the better the results are going to be. So that's why I'm like, you have to be really careful with how you ask the questions. Like I said, they have to be personal and they have to be more yes or no questions, but we'll get into a little bit more complex stuff here in just a minute. Can you talk to those that have passed with it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So again, you're just going to say, okay. And before you get started, if you are going to talk to a loved one that has crossed over, you might want to make sure to invite God in and say just a quick kind of protection prayer, because you don't want to kind of leave things open-ended, because you want to make sure that you're talking to your loved one for sure. So that's a big deal. So no, Mary, my clock is an hour off because I haven't gotten my ass up on a ladder to change it yet. So no, I haven't changed it yet. So, and you know what's so funny? I got two kids that literally don't know. They're like, look at the clock. And I'm like, it's a quarter till. They think it means 25 till. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, but yes, you're right. It's an hour off. Yep. You can't necessarily ask for another person. I mean, you can if you have their permission, then yes, I will say that, but you got to be careful with those false reads. Again, if you're trying to ask on behalf of another person, sometimes it gets a little tricky. Okay. Do you feel like each person has a pendulum that is called to them? Yes, Stephanie. And I'll tell you what's really crazy. Now, I had a lady come in, and it would have been, wow, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was my old shop, right? So she came in and she literally stands there in front of the pendulums and goes, okay, pendulums, show me which one is mine. And I'm like, get this chick, she's lost her rocker. So I sat there and watched it. I shit you not. One pendulum started swinging. She goes, oh, that's my pendulum. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. So I literally have people coming to the store now and say, okay, show me which pendulum I need. And by George, there'll be 2 or 3 that'll start swinging. It's really kind of cool. So that's why a lot of times people will ask me, which pendulum is right for me. And all I can tell you is go with the one that looks pretty. So that's the best advice I can give you. If you think it looks cool, then that's the one you need. So it's a lot like picking out crystals. Kids are awesome about picking out crystals. They go right to it. They're like, I like this one, and this one. So adults we're logical. We want to read and figure out do our research. I'm like, no, if it looks cool, that's the one you need. Yes, you can ask things that pertain to the kids. Again, it's kind of hard. It just depends on, if you're asking like, does my kid love me? Is my kid safe? Things like that. So sometimes they get that false read. So that's what makes it frustrating. So, yeah, Angela's like, wow, I'm amazed at how well it's working. I programmed it and already asked my first question. Yep. And that's how you picked mine, Jessica. Yeah. She came in and it started moving. And like I said, 5, 6 years ago when this chick I'm like, she has lost her mind. But when I saw it actually move, I was like, no freaking way. It was pretty sweet. So let's see here. Does pendulum crystal work better than others? No. like I said, it doesn't matter if it's crystal, doesn't matter if it's metal, doesn't matter if it's raw gemstones or rough gemstones, doesn't matter. Susan, you can ask the sex of your unborn baby or your grandchildren's too. So that's kind of a weird little cheat with these, but yeah, you absolutely can. And you know what, you want to know what's really funny, and I got to give Eric props here, is that when it comes to predicting gender, I'm when it comes to within our own family, I'm terrible. He's spot on every time. Now, when it comes to reading, not so bad. But when it comes to my family, I can't read nothing. But he's always really good about getting them right. So,
Start charging,
right, you should start charging. So, Stephanie says, I have 2, found the pretty one, never reads for me correctly, saw one, didn't love, asked if it was pendulum, and crazy said yes, super extreme. Yep. So, I'm a big proponent in, especially when it comes to pendulums, if you see something online, then go ahead and get it. But I'm a big proponent and really looking at it. I'm a feeler. I want to touch it and feel it. If it don't feel right, I'm not going to get it. So I suggest you try to get it in person. Clearly now that isn't the time for me to be saying that because we're all in quarantine. But I can tell you the ones from Awakenings, are real gemstones. So, but yeah, that's the other thing. Okay. Can somebody bought you a pendulum as a gift? Even better. If you receive a pendulum as a gift, it's absolutely going to work for you. Crystals are honestly best gifted. They really are. So that's why those are sometimes some of the best things that you can get. Same with tarot cards, any other divination tool. If it's given to you, usually it's best. You can ask about jobs, you can ask about relationships, you can ask about your career path, you can ask anything with this. All right, seriously, anything. So I printed out some other things that I think you guys would find really kind of cool. Okay, so check this shit out. So I printed these off on Google, okay? You don't buy nothing. These are free on Google, okay? So these are just some that I found. Now these are called like divination or pendulum charts, sheets. So they're sheets. So check this out. So I'm gonna show you this one. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yep. So you can see it has March, April, May, June, July, has the months. So all you're gonna do is hold your pendulum right there, ask a question, and it's gonna start swinging. It's going to start swinging in a certain direction. So you're going to be like, am I going to get a new job sometime this year? And you put that pendulum right there. It will absolutely start moving. So it'll move in the direction that it's going to go. So so this is called a pendulum chart. Again, Google, free, don't buy it. So there's this one. And then these get really, some of them get kind of complex. All right. So here's another one. Here's another chart. So dowsing chart. So you'll notice it looks a lot like a Ouija board, but here's the deal. A Ouija board, an angel board, it's the same damn thing. It really is. I think that it's gotten a bad rap. And I'll tell you why it's a bad rap, because a bunch of kids do it and they're like, oh, well, if Satan's really here, then show me. And I'm like, way to go. You just open up the door, dummy. So, or worse yet, they do it when they're drinking. So it does serve a purpose. It's a divination tool, just like a pendulum, just like tarot cards, just like any other thing. So, but this is very similar to that. But again, we want to say a prayer before we do this, right? We want to make sure we're in the right headspace with the right intent. So, and again, you're just going to hold that here. You can spell anything out if you want to. Obviously, there's numbers and a no, yes. All right. Okay, Jim's question. Will your wants change an answer or influence it? Yes, it can, Jim. It can. And that's what I mean by that false read. And it's really frustrating sometimes. Like I said, you're better off asking those very black and white yes or no questions, because if you want to do the more complex things, use the charts. Okay. So what's the other one? There was another one. Oh, here's another one. So here's one that's yes, no, maybe, don't want to answer. So instead of using your hands, some people find it better that they can use those. Fine. Doesn't matter. Here's some other ones. What else I got? I printed some out twice and not good techie stuff. Where's the one that I wanted for? There it is. Check this out. You can even do health stuff. Look at this. health chart. Okay, again, hold it right here. How is my health today? Am I balanced? So this is really, really good. This is really, really bad. So, and then you can even ask on a number. On this great scale, how good am I on a scale of 1 to 10? So remember that you want to ask direct questions, okay? We don't want to be like, well, it would be nice if, no, direct black and white questions. Will the answer be affected if your hands are a little shaky? No, it won't be, because it's gonna swing one way and it will make it pretty obvious. And once you really, like I said, once you really kind of understand it, it'll start. The weird thing is that especially if you use your hand, you will feel a pull in your palm, and so it'll start feeling the pull before the pendulum even moves. So after a while, when you really get in tune with it, it's really simple to use. So like I said, these charts, awesome. Like I said, get them on Google. That's all I did. Google images, and I put dowsing charts. It's also, the other word that we use is dowsing or pendulums. So just get those, just get them on Google, print them out. There you go. Good to go. Yes, you can do health charts on kids. Yep, absolutely. So the biggest thing as far as pendulums, I'm going to show if I have what I have for sale. I just have pendulums. So this is the one I have, but I think we're getting more in. But it's like everything is delayed shipping right now, and it sucks. Even Amazon's delayed shipping. So, but when we get them in, obviously I'll blow it up on Facebook and everything else. But for right now, I do have a few pendulums in. But again, these charts, nah, Google. So we did have some. I don't know if we do anymore, babe. Do we have any more of those pendulum charts, the cloth ones?
I think so.
Do we have a few of those? So we do, yeah, we do have a few that are in the store, some cloth ones, some really nice ones. Those are really good. That I know ladies, a couple ladies that actually read people using a pendulum. So there's also, I'm a Reiki master, and when I teach my Reiki class, another option is to hold it over a certain chakra. So you can hold it laying down, you can hold it over your third eye chakra and say, and ask, is my chakra balanced? No. Okay, hold it right here. And what it's going to do, and I'm going to have to spin it, it'll start spinning, and you'll actually feel it tingling whichever chakra that you need aligned. So you can actually use it for your chakra and get that fixed as well. So hopefully that makes some sense. Can my daughter use my pendulum and get answers for herself? Honestly, everybody should have their own. So because of the energy of the crystal, mostly. So the biggest thing is that I would tell you that how I really got used to mine, I wore it. You can actually, here, let me show you. I don't know if I can do this that well, but you can see on this, let me show you how it's got a little clasp right there. So what you can do is that clasp can then go, and you can wear it as a bracelet. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. I'm not coordinated enough to do that right now. So, but you can wear this as a bracelet. I do know some people that will attach it to their necklace and have it dangle as well. But like I said, I wore mine for quite a while to get used to the energy and get used to using it. So if you don't want to wear it, stick it in your pocket. So it's a really good idea to kind of keep it on you or keep it with you just for the first couple weeks, just to kind of get used to your energy and get that energy used to you. Tori, it's a great idea for kids to use this. Again, we're going to teach them proper use. We're going to say a prayer before we do it, or ask, God and angels to come in to make sure that, like I said, we're setting parameters or boundaries. But absolutely. What can I do to help me find my pendulum? Like I said, the biggest thing is just go online right now and look and see what looks neat. If it's neat looking to you, then that's probably the one you need. So, oh yeah, so somebody was asking, you never knew why that had that little chain right there. So I'm like, yeah, you can wear it so they have it open-ended that way, so you can wear it as a bracelet. So, and I've seen several people do it that way too. How do you know which pendulum to order? Like I said, guys, go with the one that you think is neat. So, and I'll even show you, because check this one out. Now here at Awakenings, we've got these little pendulum 101s, right? So But you can see that there's different ones. There's metal, there's the ones with the chakra beads, there's rough, which I don't have any more rough. This is the one that I have, which is round. There's also hexagonal and the beginner. And the beginner and the round, same. They're all, there really isn't a beginner. I mean, to me, there's not. So it just, there's some people say that if you're going to dowse and do the charts, well, then you should have this type of pendulum. No, you don't. So just get one pendulum that you really like. And if you feel like it's not working for you, gift it away and get a different one. Now, if you do ask a question, sometimes, and I've had this happen a few times, where you ask a question and then it just sits there and quivers and it doesn't move. And you're like, well, I'm not. So that means to tell me that you need to reform your question, or they're simply not going to answer it for you because you don't need to know. So, and I get that a lot. So I get that a lot where my guides are like, you don't need to know that. And I'm like, oh, but I'm curious. And they're like, no, you don't need to know that. It pertains nothing to you. So like I said, I get shut down too. But yeah, if it sits there and quivers like that, that means to tell me that you need to reform your question, or they're not going to answer it because it's not something that needs to be answered right now, or you think you want an answer and your guide's like, no, let's not answer that. So sometimes you will get a no, and sometimes you'll get that quiver and you're like, and you're going, what the heck? But it's not you. It's not the pendulum. It's just, it means to tell me that that answer isn't applicable for what you're asking. So I ask a lot of different questions and my guides are like, you don't need to know that. So it's kind of like runes. I don't understand runes at all. And I have tried so hard to understand them and it doesn't click. And finally my guides are like, you don't need to know about runes. You got tarot cards down pat. That's good enough. I'm like, oh, fine. So sometimes that'll happen when you get kind of denied. So don't take it personal. We're not supposed to. It's just that they know more than what we know. And sometimes us not knowing is better. So, all righty. Okay. Any questions? Because I want to make sure to answer questions at this point. Any questions at all? So, good questions so far. None? No questions? Okay, that's a fuzzy. I got fuzzies all over. It's not an orb. So sometimes that happens, but no fuzzies. So I get a lot of those pictures. People will send me pictures of like the sun or something like that. And I'm like, and it's always a green orb or I'm like, no. So nope, no drinks tonight, just having water. So anyone else notice that orb? Yeah, it's not an orb. It was a fuzzy. I saw it. So I have a rose quartz crystal pendulum that just cracked in half out of the blue. Ooh, Denise, that just means to tell me rose quartz and you are not friends. So throw it away, or you can gift it to somebody else if they want to. But if you're going to order another pendulum, do not get a rose quartz. That is not the one for you. I bust up malachite. Malachite and I, vibrationally, we're not friends. So I can even have a piece of malachite in my hand and it will break in half. So malachite and I are not friends. So I'm in your boat with that one. So, okay. Denise had a good question. Yeah, with the rose quartz one. Yeah, that's why I'm like going, if it breaks, you're not supposed to have it. And I'll tell you, here's the other pain in the ass one. If you lose it, you don't need it. Or they just took it away from you for a little while. So sometimes that happens. So sometimes that really happens where they kind of have the tendency to take it away and you're like, hey! So, and then ask to bring it back. And sometimes weird shit happens. It'll show up like on your dresser or something. Alicia's asking me about the orbs. So here's the big deal is that if you're showing me a picture and it's got sun, it's like the sun in it, or it's got a like a light in it or a candle, if you always look on the opposite end of that, you're going to see what looks like a green orb. That is not spirit. That's the refraction off your camera because your camera lens is curved or it's rounded, and that refraction you're always going to see. So that's why when people send me that picture, they're like, oh, it's grandma. And I'm like, oh, no, it's not. It's nothing spiritual at all. It's actually, that can be replicated. So Can you use photos and your pendulum to ask questions? Absolutely, Kendra. Yes, you can. Absolutely. Yep. So I have two. One amethyst I never lose, one lapis and disappears and reappears. Yeah, that's about right. So like I said, stick with your amethyst one. Lapis probably isn't the right crystal for you. So a lot of times they'll take it away or it gets lost because, again, vibrationally speaking, you don't need that one, or it's messing up vibrationally within your own system. So, because lapis really opens up the throat and the third eye. And if your throat and third eye are great, so sometimes those things will go away. And then when you get off kilter again, it shows up. So, yay! Leslie said that did it with my boyfriend's necklace that he feels good luck since I don't have a pendulum. It worked. He and I are amazed. It will. That's like, you don't have to necessarily have a pendulum. You can use a necklace. You can use anything, really. You don't have to get all technical on this, really. A lot of people have the tendency to, have their own rituals and get really techie. And I'm like, don't. I never do. So if that's what floats your boat and that's what works for you, then that's what we're going to stick with. Because like I said, once you program it, it doesn't matter. It will work for all other pendulums. So had rose quartz for many years. I did take it to work. The tip of the pendulum broke. Oh, that sucks, Jennifer. It should still work, honestly. So what I always tell people is when it like gets a chip or a little break, put it on a piece of selenite and let it heal a little bit, and then you should be good to use it again. It's fine. But if it breaks in half, or like I said, you lose it, that is not the one for you. I have a lot of people that'll come into the store and be like, oh, well, I lost my green of entry and I need to get another one. And I'm like, no, you don't. And you don't get to have another one. You get to pick out a different green crystal. So, and people don't realize the reason why is because vibrationally it just doesn't work for you anymore. So if you want to know if your sister's going to have a baby, do you ask? Yes, ask if you're going to be an aunt. Don't ask if your sister's going to have a baby. So ask, am I going to be an aunt? And then that's when I'm telling you, that's when I whip this sucker. I'll be like, what month? What month? So that's what those charts are for. So yes, just the biggest thing is always ask for you personally. When am I going to be an aunt? So, and then it'll tell you, because if you're asking on the other behalf, sometimes you'll get that false read a little bit. What's the best way to train your brain to not influence your answers? Literally, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, so what is it? So what is it? So what is it? So what is it? So I repeat that. So that way you're right. I don't want to influence a pendulum. So I'm asking, so what is it? So what is it? So what is it? So what is it? Or I'll say something like, show me, show me, show me, show me. So that way I'm shutting the logic down, because the logic always wants to control. The ego always wants to control. And obviously, if you learn how to meditate, you can learn how to shut that down pretty quick. But if you're just starting out and you're not really a good meditator, ask those questions in your mind. So what is it? So what is it? So if you just repeat that, a lot of times it gets your brain to shut up a little bit to get the pendulum to work for you better. What do I say in between questions? A lot of times I'll ask, a question like, hey, is my name Kelly? Right? And then it's going to move. And then a lot of times I'm like, So I'll just hold it. I literally put it back in my hand. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I just remembered. And then you just whip it back out and then ask the other question. So a lot of times I'm just going to hold it in between the questions, because it takes me a while to think about what I want to ask next. So that's an easy way to do it. So good questions, guys. Is there any reason to have more than one pendulum? Some people like to have a pendulum at home, and then they like to have one at work. So personally, I just have one. Like I said, this one goes with me. It's in my backpack. And I do have a little pouch for it. So at Awakenings, you can get little pouches that you can put these in so they don't get knotted up, because I don't need to wear mine anymore. So I just keep mine in a little like velvet pouch thing. So that way it doesn't get tangled or beat up. So, and Lisa, I was just saying that earlier. You can get them online. I mean, right now, unfortunately, you're just going to have to get them online. Go to awakeningsstore.com. Like I said, we have quite a few options. I know that Eric's putting some more up on there too. So So Stephanie, that's a really good question. Remember, spirit understands things in thought, word, and deed. So you don't have to say those questions out loud. You can say them in your brain. So, because a lot of times we're going to be around people, we don't want to be asking a bunch of weird questions. So just say it in your head, is whatever you want to ask. Like I said, there's so many different questions. So, but you can definitely say it in your head. It's no different than when you're like going to Walmart and you want to say like a quick protection prayer, like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. And then you just imagine yourself in a big white bubble that really acts great as a nice protector. So that way it kind of keeps your hoodoo to yourself and not feeling all the crazy shit, right? Yes, Awakenings is closed. We closed it on Friday, just to kind of keep everybody safe. And number two, I've got 3 teens here. I quarantined them and I don't want to bring anything home to them either. So we decided to shut the doors on Friday. We'll reopen as soon as we can. We don't know when, but our online orders, he and I have been filling those up. We did let our staff go for right now, because obviously we can't afford to pay them. So we did let the staff go for a little bit. But as soon as we get the go ahead, we're back on, and we're gonna do kind of a big grand opening for everybody and have some good sales and specials and things like that. So, but like I said, I do want to thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. So these are really good questions. Like I said, when it comes to a map, if you guys want, just hold it over the map and ask whatever question you want. Should I live in A or B? Where's the best place for me and my family? It'll start moving. It'll start moving. So, do you have anything written with some of the prayers you use or different situations like smudging or this? I do, and it's in one of my pamphlets. So like I said, I usually say something like, God, angels, please fill this house with love and light. Anything not serving me or my family's highest good must leave now. Usually that's what I say. So, so that's a good one. Would empaths have greater issues with reading when in public? Greta, that's a really good question. And honestly, yeah, you guys might. So, and the reason why is because you might get some outside influences here. And again, what I always do and how I train my students too is that if you're like in an expo and you want to do a one-on-one reading, you imagine a bubble around the both of you and you block everybody else out. So that way you're just talking to the one person ahead of you. It makes it a little bit easier. So again, if you're going to be doing this in public, that's fine. Put the bubble around you. Imagine a big bubble and push the bubble out a little bit. Give yourself some space and then go ahead and start working on your pendulum. So we're asking the questions with your pendulum. So usually that's going to work pretty well. But like I said, my empaths, it might be a little bit harder in public, but again, bubble it up. So it's all good. Casey's asking if somebody touches the pendulum, like a husband or somebody, can I sage it to get the hoodoo off? Absolutely, yes. So that's what I'm going. Anytime, my kids know, don't touch my shit. So my husband knows that. That's when my kids have their own crystals. I have my own crystals. And every full moon, not new moon, remember, new moon is when we sage, full moon is when the crystals go outside to charge. So we literally have, I have cake pans. I put all my crystals in my cake pans. That includes any jewelry as well. And I just put it outside to charge and cleanse. So if it's going to be rainy or anything like that, especially the jewelry, I put it on my windowsill. And even if it's cloudy, it still charges. It's no big deal. So the rose quartz and amethyst, Lisa, those are good ones. Those, I still have those. They should be available online. I have those still online. There's some other ones like the rough and the metal ones. I'm getting some gorgeous ones coming in, but they won't be until May 1st. So if they even get here. So, but they're really pretty. Let's see, deep clean today, sage the holy heck out of my apartment to the point of my smoke alarm went off. Yes, that's a good sage right there. So I did that this morning and it was so funny because Steven came out and he's like, I'm like, must be doing it pretty good. So, and Steven anymore, he doesn't mind it when I sage because he sleeps really well at night. So it helps out a lot. So, Yeah. So here's the deal, Tori. Yeah, you shouldn't ask questions about other people. Remember, children are your people. They're part of you, half of you anyway. So, and since they are children that are from you, you can ask questions on their behalf. So that's fine. Did I get any candle snuffers in? No, but that's on order too. So, like I said, we've got 4 companies that I'm like, come on, guys, get my stuff. Let's go. So, and I don't understand why they're taking so long, but it's not like the shipping is behind, but it's just, I think they're just overwhelmed, honestly. Is the energy lower if there's a knot in the chain? No, not necessarily. No, not necessarily. I would tell you, try to get the knot out. And usually if one of ours knots up at work, it's a pain in the ass to get it unknotted. So a lot of times we'll get I'll take a paper clip, undo a paper clip and work on it that way. That seems to be the easiest way. So, okay. Can you use the word should in your questions, or is not black and white enough? Like I said, you can use should. I mean, it really, like I said, but the yes or no questions are usually better. So, but you can use the word should, but again, do you see how that could be gray? So like I said, black and white is better. That's what am I going to? Will I be able to? So the more the yes or no's. And don't get too upset if it just doesn't move. Like I said, can you ask questions about sisters or brothers? To an extent, you can. Yeah, you sure can to an extent. The hardest one, and let me give you an example. Let me give you a really good example of somebody that used a pendulum one time. So it was at my old store. She had come in and she just kind of walked right in. She said, hey, I'm going to win the lottery. And I just kind of looked at her and she goes, yep, I've asked my pendulum and I'm going to win it because it said I'm going to win the Powerball. And I was like, and the weird thing about it, I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. And I was like, okay, come back in tomorrow after the Powerball and let me know how that went. She goes, absolutely. Like, she was stoked because I couldn't say no. So she came back in the next day and I'm like, so? And she goes, well, I got the Powerball number right, but I missed all 5 of the other numbers. I'm like, well, perfect example. She said, what's the Powerball number? She got the number. She got it right, but she got all the other ones wrong. So remember, if you're not meant to win the lottery, you're not going to anyway, whether you use a pendulum or not, because again, they're not gonna help you with that if you're not supposed to win it that way. So, if your spouse really doesn't believe in this or anything really, can that affect anything with my pendulum? Nope, not at all. Nope, not at all. I would just tell you, just don't do it around him so it doesn't weird him out. So, but it doesn't matter. To each own. Everybody has their own belief system. Absolutely. So that's why I'm like, to each your own. No big deal. So would it be a valid answer with all family members then if it works with mothers and children? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like I said, if you're really asking it for their highest good, usually it's going to give you the right answer. But like I said, pendulums are meant to be very personal. So you have to ask a question in a personal way. So if that makes any sense at all. I've heard sage pendulum to cleanse. Yes, you want to cleanse and charge your pendulums. That's the first thing you want to do. And then you want to program it. So, sorry, my nose is a little runny. Hers sounds like my husband. Mine's open-minded enough, otherwise he would have never married me. So, but not everybody is, and you know what? That's okay. That's all right. So, any other questions? These are great questions, guys. I'm just trying to think if there's any other questions when it comes to pendulums. Like I said, you can use it to ask about chakras. And if your chakras are weird, just hold it over the chakra that's weird and it's going to start moving and you'll actually feel the pull. So how long do crystals stay charged? Honestly, it depends on how much you use them. So there's certain crystals like jade, smoky quartz, things like that. You really want to cleanse those and charge those very often because they suck up things. So other things, not so much. So, but again, it depends on what you're talking about. The other ones too, Like citrine doesn't need to be cleansed or charged. Black tourmaline, selenite, things like that don't ever need to be cleansed or charged. So things like that are A-okay. Herkimer diamond moldavite mixed bracelet. Can you find again? I don't know. That's an Eric question, and I'll tell you, we got a hold of a dealer that specializes in very high end jewelry. And when I first got these in, I was like, yeah, all right, I'll take a peek at it. But when I saw that black opal, I was shocked. I was like, wow, that's probably the best quality I've seen. So I'm seeing stuff. So I don't know if you guys are not, but whatever. Like I said, pendulums can help heal the chakra just by simply holding it over, and it will unblock or unlock the chakra just by holding it. Been a year since using my pendulum. Should I wear it before I use it again? Chelsea, I would. And then give it a good charge. Like I said, if you got a selenite sticks, a piece of selenite, put it right next to it. So you only need to determine the directions of yes, no, or I don't know just once. That's right. So once this is charged, like I said, if I grab a metal pendulum, it's still going to move the same way. Yes, no, I don't know. Still going to do that. Still going to do that. Are the orbs my family or guys? You know, I don't know. I never know. It's my house. I ask them to step out, but whenever I talk about spirit guides or angels, they show up. So, you can, Dallas, you were asking, can I ask, will I get a boyfriend? Be a little bit more particular. Will I get a boyfriend this month, this year, this week? Be more particular. So do you see what I mean by that particular? Because it matters. So don't be too vague about it. Be like, and again, this is where these wonderful little pendulum charts come in. So then we can really get particular. So those are like I said, I love using these. Sometimes like I said, sometimes I'll use them for maps and things like that. But like I said, anymore, yeah, just use my intuition. Any other questions, guys? These are great questions. I don't want to miss out on anything. I am also going to be doing, I think next Friday. Yeah, Friday. So Friday, I'm doing another free video here on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that one is going to be about chakras. So just the basics that you need about chakras, and some of the emotions that are kind of locked up into chakras and why bodies sometimes go into disease stuff. So Lisa suggests helping a child with anger. I'm going to tell you almost always that is a father abandonment issue. So get the dad to plug into the child if you can. Otherwise, get the child into counseling so the child knows how to speak truth. Let's see. Where did I find? Yeah, the pendulum charts, Google. Just Google. Like I said, I'm telling you, save your money. Don't buy it. There's a lot of places that want you to buy these pendulum charts. I printed these off in 5 minutes from Google. So easy. Yes, if you give somebody permission and they can use their pendulum for a question, absolutely that'll work. Yep, it absolutely will work. Passed away and tried counseling. So I'm going to tell you that's a grief. It's a reaction to grief. So if you've got a grandpa, if he has a grandpa or like an uncle that would help him out, that would be awesome. He needs a male influence, particularly on one of two sides of the family. Stepdad isn't going to do it. So, all righty. Any other questions, guys? Like I said, I'm still going to do one, like I said, Friday with the chakras. And then next week, I'm going to come up with some more. So if you guys want to know more about whatever, I am going to do a meditation one next. I know that one. But if there's any free videos that you guys want to learn more about, either email me, kelly@psychickelly.com, or through Facebook or whatever. So I'm still pretty active on Facebook here. I answer my own questions on Facebook. It's kind of funny. People will send me a message like, well, whoever answers Kelly's stuff. I'm like, I do. So I still answer my own emails too. But like I said, if you guys want to see or want to learn anything else, let me know. I am all ears for stuff. So yeah. No, once you program it, you do not ever need to reprogram it. Like I said, once it's kind of like set it and forget it, right? Just, you don't need to do this every single time you want to ask a question. No, once it's set, it's set. So yeah, I know orbs. I usually have lots of orbs. I have friends. How long does it take to open up chakras at the pendulum? Usually about 5-10 minutes. Not very long at all. Not very long. And you'll actually feel it because it'll feel funny. It'll be weird. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much again. We're going to wrap this one up. Thank you so much again for attending. And like I said, I'm going to be doing these as long as the store is closed. And I mean, why not? So Tanner, he's asked the best place to store it. Like I said, little velvet pouch. That's what I put mine in. So, okay, I gotta get a drink. Yay, Mary! I'm so glad your house got taken care of. But anyway, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. Please make sure that you like this video because it helps with my ranking. And then again, make sure that you like Awakenings and Psychic Medium Kelly Miller on Facebook. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. Like I said, I'm going to be doing 2 a week as far as I'm concerned. So I'll keep doing these as long as we can. So, all right, guys, stay safe, be well. Like I said, don't stress. This is going to pass. Like I said, if I had to guess, honestly, by June 1st, we're back to normal 100%. Really. So don't sweat it. We're good to go, guys. Like I said, easy does it. Stay home, chill, relax, no stress, right? Stress makes people sick. We ain't gonna stress. So we're all in the same boat together. We're all gonna be bleeding money here for a little bit, but it's okay. Like I said, we're all in that same boat. So you're not the only one. So hang in there, guys. Take care. God bless. And I will talk to you probably on Friday. So see you guys. Take care. Bye.